Every Premier League club's breakout start in the 23-24 season. Right, let's start with Arsenal, and I'm going to go with Rue Waters, a young 18-year-old centre-back born in Lambeth, London. He recently played in a friendly against Nuremberg and has shown promise at youth level. He's a versatile defender, and I think he will make at least 1 or 2 Premier League appearances. If not, he'll be loaned out to a Championship or League One club and probably really impress. Next we have Aston Villa, and I'm going to go with Breakout Championship star Cameron Archer, who scored 11 goals and chipped in with 6 assists at Middlesbrough last season. He also recently won the Under-21 European Championships with England this summer, in which he also scored twice and managed to chip in with an assist. I think he shows promise, and given Aston Villa are playing in Europe this season, they need some extra numbers in attack. Next up we have Bournemouth. And I'm going to go with Dango Ouattara to have an absolute smashing season at Bournemouth. With Iraola at the wheel, Ouattara can really shine, and we've seen this in flashes. For example, he scored against Spurs, a late winner in the 95th minute. So I think he can keep improving under a new coach. And next we have Brentford, and I'm going to go with Keane Lewis-Potter, who they signed from Hull City in 2022. If you're enjoying the video so far, feel free to subscribe. He didn't have the most impressive year last year, only getting 1 assist in 10 Premier League appearances. But as he's young and still only 22, I think this is clearly just an adjustment season for him. And this season he may have the know-how to really succeed in the Premier League, and he could step up in Ivan Toney's absence. I think Mikkel Damsgaard isn't it, and I think Keane Lewis-Potter is a better player than him. Brighton had many breakout stars last season, but who's going to break out next? I think Facundo Buonanotte is the name you've got to keep on your lips, because he is the next Brighton player to break out. He looked good at points last season, even getting a goal and an assist. He'll definitely impress against one big team. Next up is Burnley, and I believe Anas Sarawi could have a really solid season next season, having gotten 12 goal contributions last season. Next up is Chelsea, and because the Chelsea squad is the same population as China's, there's a lot of people to pick from. But I'm going to pick Uko Chukwu, the new signing from Stade Rennais. I think he's a solid signing, even if they overpaid for him. I think he has a good amount of experience, and he seems like a solid central defensive midfielder. I feel like he could thrive in Pochettino's system. Shoutouts to Levi Colville and Malo Gusto, who could also have breakout seasons, as well as Andre Santos and Nicholas Jackson, signed from Villarreal over the summer window. The Crystal Palace, I'm going to go with their new signing, Matheus Franca. Now you might think this is an expensive signing, surely he can't be a breakout star. But many English fans will not know his name, so I'm going to go with him. I think he has promise and has shown good promise in Brazil, and I think he could be a quality player. He's young, he's only 19 as well, so he has the talent to really break through. They've paid a significant fee, so I hope he does well. For Everton, and I'm going to go with Reggie Cannon, the 20-year-old Irish striker. And I think Everton are really lacking a striker. Mopé isn't hitting on all cylinders. DCL is just being a fashion guru. This leaves space for Cannon to really shine. He's shown promise both at youth level and in the Championship on loan with Preston that he can score. So surely he can prove at the Premier League level that he can do it. For Fulham, I'm going to go with Rodrigo Muniz, who didn't do too brilliantly at Middlesbrough last season, only scoring 7 goals. But I think he has promise. And I think he can definitely fill the hole that Mitrovic may leave. Fulham need a striker who can score goals, and Rodrigo Muniz is a potential solution. Liverpool, and I'm going to go with Ben Doak, or Ben Doak, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And he's impressed in pre-season. The Scotsman will definitely be competing in the Europa League in games that don't mean much when Liverpool are playing as some random Kazakhstani or Slovakian team. But if he impresses in those games, then he could get a few starts or sub appearances in the Premier League. And if he plays well in, say, the FA Cup or the League Cup, he could also make his way into the first team. Given that the likes that wingers such as Diaz, Salah, and even Jota, who can play out wide, are all injury prone, maybe he can be a replacement for them. Luton Town, I'm going to go with Issa Kabore, their new loan signing from Man City. He impressed in France last season with Marseille, playing 53 times in all competitions and securing third place and a Champions League place. This shows that he has that top level experience that Luton Town need right now. Their squad is obviously very new to the Premier League, so they need players who can play at the top level and fast to have any chance of survival. Having played at the top level, he's definitely what Luton are looking for, and I think he could become the next top right back in the Premier League. And in a squad of underdogs, he could really shine. Man City, and I'm going to go with Cole Palmer, who's already starting to impress in pre-season and starting to break his way through to the Man City first team. He recently scored in the Community Shield, and that already tells me something. He is well liked by Pep Guardiola, and he can definitely impress in this exceptional City squad. So we're going across Manchester. Next, I think with Man United, I'm going to go with Kobe Mainu, or Mainu. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. He only played 2 games for Man United last season, so he hasn't really been given much of a chance by Erik ten Hag. But given a lot of midfielders are set to leave, that opens a potential spot for Kobe Mainu. And I think he can fill that spot and really start to impress the league. So we're going across to the northeast. For Newcastle, I'm going to go with Elliot Anderson. Despite being the richest club in world football, Newcastle don't have too many exciting young talents. But one of those is Elliot Anderson, who played quite a lot of bench appearances last season. But I think he can break into this first team. He's a solid player, he's attacking minded, and he has the ability to read the game very well and see what others can't. For Nottingham Forest, I'm going to go with Brandon Aguilera, who spent last season on loan at 2 different clubs. They brought him in last season during that huge influx of players. Having impressed in Costa Rica, I think he can really shine in a somewhat weak Nottingham Forest squad. He already has 8 caps for the Costa Rican national team at only 20 years old. Next up, we have Sheffield United, and I'm going to go for Jebison, the striker. Weirdly enough, he's already scored a Premier League goal against Everton in the season that Sheffield United were relegated, which was 2 years ago. Daniel Jebison played 16 times in the Championship last season and only got 2 assists and 1 goal. But given there is a gaping hole in the attack now Iliman Ndiaye has left, I think Daniel Jebison can really shine and really break through in that spot. I think Benny Traore is also a shelf as well. Spurs, we're going to go with Destiny Udogie, who spent last season on loan at Udinese after Spurs bought him last summer. And actually, I think he's a fantastic player. He clearly has real potential and he likes to get forward, having registered 16 goal contributions in 2 Serie A seasons. Having gotten regular game time in a major league, he definitely has the ability to deal with pressure. And with Postecoglou, an attacking-minded coach, he can really succeed in this new system. West Ham, and you don't have too many youth players, but I'm going to go with Connor Coventry, who spent last season on loan at Rotherham and did pretty solid, keeping them up and getting 2 assists. He's a solid central midfielder who hasn't really gotten much chance yet, but I think he is capable of translating his potential into reality. He probably needs 1 more season out on loan, maybe at another championship club or maybe even abroad. But I think he'll thrive there. Finally, Wolves, let's go with Boubacar Traore, who they recently signed on a permanent deal from FC Metz. He showed promise in his loan spell last season, but didn't really catch the eye of too many people. But I think this season, under a new coach, he can potentially really start to succeed as someone who is pacey and has a lot of energy, and has already scored for Wolves in a League Cup game against Leeds. Right, so that concludes the list. Like and subscribe, really helps me out, and I'll see you later.